What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I want to talk about what's happening with the overall markets. Please note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you are guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon, in just about 9 days from now. Anyways, let's talk about the markets. So, it was a very, very crazy day today. We just saw insane volatility. What happened to the market was we were pumping really, really nicely in the morning, and that got me very excited alongside other investors that we were going to see this pump that was coming. But then we made a big rejection, and the market dumped really hard for the first hour or so. It was almost like an hour and a half. And then we got bought back up again. We rejected, looking a little bit weak. And then finally, during the last 1.5 hours, the market got bought back up. And now there's buyers trying to push us to break the highs of yesterday. So this makes me conclude that so far, the market's on an uptrend, and every time we've been dipping, the market's getting bought back up, and it's continuing to hold support very, very well. Now, they're dumping the markets just so that they could buy it back up, and that's what their plan is as they're continuing to push the market higher. As of right now, that's what's going on. Um, if SPY were to turn around and lose 590.8 and 589.6, we will turn a little bit more in a risky position. As long as we're above 590, as long as we keep reclaiming it on the 4-hour time frame and closing above it, we are still favoring the bulls a bit more. So this chart has a lot of wicks down here that were forming, which shows us that they were dumping it only to buy it back up, right? Very, very sketchy manipulation from these market makers. And that now they're trying to push it even higher from this point on. So we're looking at 595 as our resistance. If we break this, I think we could get very close to about the 597.5 area. If we lose 594, we're looking for our main support around 590, the 592.5 area. This chart is favoring that it wants to go up looking at the 4-hour. I do want to warn you guys to be careful with the markets though, because there have been instances where we're pumping, then we just get a sudden drop only to get bought back up later. So sometimes you do get those tricky drops. But as of right now, the market looks more bullish. And hopefully it remains this way. There isn't as much trickery for the time being. So, yes, I just want to say this: every time we've dropped for the last couple of days, it results in us basically pumping more. So they're dumping the market just to pump it more. That's what the trend has been thus far, and that's what I think it will most likely perpetuate. For ES, it's the same thing, right? We dumped only to get bought back up. We dumped, got bought back up. We dumped, got bought back up over and over and over again. If they do give us more dumps, we should continue to hold above 59.40. As long as we're above that, we do favor more upside. And our ultimate target is to be around the 6,000 area, not to mention 6,025. So I think the odds are favoring upside for 6,000 plus, and we'll see what happens from here. For Tesla is just range bound right here. We have 336 as our main support. And we have resistance around this 348 area, around that area. It doesn't have to be precise. So Tesla is very different. What happened at Tesla is we made so many big moves already that the thing is taking a break and we're seeing volume slowing down. So it loves to enter consolidation phases before it gets ready for big moves. This makes me presume a big move is coming to Tesla soon, but we're not ready yet, and we're just going to be range bound for the time being. So watch the range I called out. This 335, 336 areas are support, and around 348-ish is where our resistance is. Maybe a little bit lower than that, depending on the timing. And we're just going to be range bound for Tesla for now until we see a much bigger move. For Nvidia, this is crazy. Okay, so yesterday we dump after earnings comes out, then we rally during the pre-market, then we dump again, then we push, dump, and now we're pushing all over again. So it's just back and forth price action. But just know that ultimately, every time it's been dipping, it has led to more upside. The upside is what is ruling right now. Nvidia is trying to hold above 148. We'll see if 148 holds or not. If it does hold, we're looking for 150 as our potential target. I think we're doing a good job, so let's hope this continues. Bitcoin is looking for the 100,000 target, doing a good job at holding up. I think it will eventually pump towards that target. NQ has the same setup as ES. As long as we don't lose 20,736, I think we're favoring a push closer to about 20,900 and eventually 21,000. Looking more bullish for now. For the QQQ, we're looking more bullish. As long as we don't lose 503, I think we are favoring upside. As long as we're above 503, I just want to say that just like SPY, every time we've dipped, we've been getting bought back up. The daily on the QQQ also happens to have this gap to fill up here. So there's a very, very nice gap above. If we continue this push, we're looking for that gap flow around 508.5. There is most definitely potential for it as long as we continue to hold these levels. So to me, the QQQ looks a little bit more bullish. It does have some more upside potential. Apple's looking more bullish as well. We'll have to see if we break past 230. If we do, I think we easily go back up towards 232. As long as you don't lose 226, I think we favor the upside. Netflix looks more bullish. We're looking for essentially 900 as our targets. I think there's a very, very good chance we try to push for that level. So it's looking quite good here. For MSTR, we're actually looking bearish now. So I want to call out something very important. On the 4-hour time frame, we've lost our 20 EMA at 420, which is not the best of signs. We need to reclaim 418 to 420. Otherwise, we are at risk of coming all the way down towards this previous resistance becoming support. This is going to be very close to this 375 to 380 area, very close to 375 basically. If we don't hold 400, we're going to be dumping quite a bit, another like 20 points or so. So be careful, guys. We got to hold 400 or else this thing is going to dump. And by hold 400, I'm referring to close. Can we close above this? Otherwise, this thing is going to dump. So be prepared, guys. I'm just here to give you guys the warnings that this has a lot of risk, and we'll have to see what happens from here. So to me, it's looking weaker. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. If you are trading this, I know a lot of people on this channel have been asking me to analyze this. I do the best I can to be unbiased, but just know that there is that risk of the downside, especially when you look at the way that this is moving. So be careful, guys. We'll have to see if we could hold 400 by close. Otherwise, it's going to be dipping more. Palantir remains range bound as we predicted between 62.5 and about 62 or 60.60 and then 62.5, excuse me. So we're range bound here. If we don't hold support though, there is a possible head and shoulders that could be forming. That would take us down to at least 58 or below. We'll see if that pans out. There's no sign of it rejecting and losing support yet. For Microsoft, we look more bullish. As long as we don't lose 234 and then 231, I think we favor upside. This imbalance will take us all the way up towards 236.6. Coin is looking pretty good here. We might be dipping a little bit lower. It's about 288 before we try to bounce. Excuse me. We saw so much upside, so this is just completely normal. Amazon dipped all the way down to about 194. We're getting bought back up. We have to reclaim 200. Otherwise, we could be dipping a little bit more. I think we're just going to trade sideways between 198 and 200 for some time. Meta, on the other hand, is looking a little bit more bullish. If we could crack past 564, we could be pushing more to 569. Otherwise, it's going to be fighting around 564. We'll see if it breaks that or not. Microsoft is very flat right now. We'll have to see if we hold above 412. If we do, we're looking for a push back up to 416. So we remain range bound on Microsoft. And Google, although this dumped all the way down to 166, we could be trying to push back up for 170. We have this previous support becoming resistance around this 170 area, so I think we could attempt to push higher for that. And then we'll see how things end up going from here. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. The market is tricky. It's very, very tricky. But just know that every time SPY, ES, the QQQ, NQ, and many other tickers like Nvidia have been dipping over the last like 2-3 days, we've ultimately been bought back up at the end of the day. So the buyers keep returning over and over again. So the direction is now more in favor of bulls. Could this shift? It's always possible it shifts, but right now that has not happened. So we just have to follow the trend, which is favoring upside for now. Keep that in mind, guys. That's what I'm seeing for the charts. I just want to thank you all so much for listening. Whoopsies. Please have a great day, and I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for another update. Thank you for listening, and peace out.